So it's Monday evening and it's about 6:30. The jungle's just gone dark and I'm here at the Spirit Vine Centre. I've had a cool day. We've been to the beach, had a massage, done yoga, just chilled out most of the day, and this afternoon we've done some regression work, and in about 2.5 hours I'm going to do my first Ayahuasca ceremony. So everybody's been briefed, everybody's been prepared. We've had not too much food today. I've been told that you either puke it out or it comes out the other end, or possibly both. So yeah, I'm ready, looking forward to it. Who knows what's going to happen. I wanted to video it, but we can't video it because it's done in pitch black. So we take the liquid, take the potion, all the lights go off, and then we sit there until the jungle becomes light again in the morning. So I'll give you a debrief in 10 to 12 hours whenever I come around. I'm not sure what state I'm going to be and what's going to happen, but I'm looking forward to every moment of it. Yeah, I'll see you soon. So last night I took my first lot of ayahuasca, and it was one of the craziest experiences I've ever had, but also one of the most beautiful experiences that I've ever had in my life. It started off, I took my first dose at about 9:30, and for the first sort of half an hour or so I was just meditating. Nothing too much was happening, and then it was kind of like I dozed off, and then all of a sudden I was kind of coming round and I had this most intense visualization. There was loads of blues and greens, everything was spinning, and I looked down and I had no body. I had no arms, I had no legs, I had no shoulders, there was not even my head, there was nothing. There was just like consciousness, and my body was like rhythm and vibration. The music was going, drums and all this different kind of music, and going up and down, and I could feel the bass. My body was the bass, my body was the treble, and it was just the most intense visualization. And then I started hearing this voice in my head that was saying, let go, let go. And I was saying, but I am letting go, or how do I let go? And they were saying, let go, let go. And then I started to touch my body, and all of a sudden my body started coming back, and it was like I destroyed the trip that I was on, and it was like I came back and I was straight again. And this lasted for about an hour. It wasn't until a little bit later on that I realised that I wasn't straight at all. I was just so present that I thought that I was straight, but I wasn't. And so I called Michael over, who was one of the facilitators at the Spirit Vine, and I said to him, you know, I need some more ayahuasca. You know, I had some great visuals to start with, but now it's just shut down. And he said, okay, no worries, I'm going to get you some more. So it took a little while for him to come over, or it's probably me being my impatient self, thought that it was taking a little while to come over. And so I thought to myself, I'm going to go to the toilet. I'm going to try and be sick, and maybe that'll help me bring this up, you know, because I felt like I wanted to purge, like I wanted to be sick. So I went to the toilet. I actually sat down on the toilet and I looked down at the floor, and there was a frog, and I was staring at this little frog. It was only a tiny little brown frog with big black eyes for ages, and I was staring at this frog, and I was thinking, am I imagining this frog? Is this a visual, or is that frog real? So I got this little piece of plastic that was on the wall in the toilet, and I just touched the back of it, and it jumped, and it kind of freaked me out a little bit. And then I got off the toilet and I was staring at this frog for ages. And then I walked out the toilet, And I said to Michael, who was outside, I said, you know, the best part of my evening so far, mate, is me seeing this frog on the floor. And he said, is it still in there? I said, yeah. And we walked in and we saw it and we left it. And it wasn't until the morning that I realised that the reason I thought that this frog was so amazing is because when I was looking at the frog, I became the frog and the frog became me. I was inside the frog and the frog was inside me. Our consciousnesses merged. It was the most incredible feeling. And I was so present and so focused and so in the flow that I thought nothing was happening to me. But really and truthfully, I was totally off my nut. And yeah, so I walked back inside. Then Michael brought another 40 millilitres of ayahuasca. I had 70 the first cup and then 40 on the second cup. And I remember the first cup that I had, it was like, you know, I enjoyed it. I was like, oh, this is nice. I was scraping the bottom of it and licking it and really cleaning out the glass. And then on the second glass, he brought it over and I smelt it and I thought, boy, I'm not sure whether I should be doing this, but I drank it anyway. And then that's when everything just went into overdrive. It was crazy. I went back to the toilet and there was a guy in there called Daniel and Sylvia, one of the facilitators, or the lady that owns Spirit Vine, and a facilitator, and they were kind of outside the toilet. I was talking to them for a bit. I was looking at the jungle, and then I walked into the toilet and I tried to be sick and I couldn't. And then I sat on the toilet and I did a number 2, and I wasn't doing it from my stomach, it was coming out of my throat. My throat chakra was just pouring and pouring and pouring. And then I gripped the bottom of the toilet and I thought to myself, am I actually really pooing into the toilet right now? I thought, oh my God, please don't let me be going all over the place. And I was like, thank God I'm pooing into the toilet. Because there was so much coming out of me, I thought if this goes everywhere it's going to be a right mess. But luckily it went into the toilet and it was just pouring and pouring and pouring. Loads of emotion, years of emotion of me not speaking up about certain events. It just blocked out my throat chakra, but it all emptied out in this session. And then I stood up and I walked outside the toilet, got off the toilet, and then I was outside and I was looking at the jungle, and Daniel had been into the toilet in this time, and he came back out, and Sylvia was there, and she turned around and she said, you guys are so high, you just don't know how high you are. And I looked at her and said, you are so right, we are so high right now. And I looked at Daniel and he had 2 heads and he had 2 smiles, and I couldn't focus on him, and I tried to speak and just gobbledygook came out of my mouth. And I went back into the toilet and I was purging, I was throwing up all this black stuff. I did a number 2 several more times. It was just coming out of both ends like ferociously. But every time my buzz was going up, my consciousness was going up, and I had all these mad visions. And then in the end I was led on the toilet floor, and what was happening is the ayahuasca was forcing me to surrender. It was beating me up. It was like it stripped me naked and it raped me, and it had me on the floor, standing on top of my body. My head was pressed into the corner where the floor of the toilet met the wall, and it was twisted at an angle. And my feet, I was like in the fetus position, cuddling the bottom of the toilet, and there were these bugs, and they were eating, like sucking the blood out of my ankles. And ayahuasca was just saying to me, surrender. Let go of your ego, let go of your possessions, let go of everything that you are, everything that you think you are, everything that you thought you ever were. You're naked right now. And it brought me back all the way to when I came out of my mother's womb, and I was born, and I was given up for adoption, so I was whisked away into this other room. I was just like this baby, and I was abandoned, and that's what I felt like on this toilet room floor. And I just surrendered there and then, and as I surrendered, the boundaries of my body disappeared again, and I became one with the wall, with the floor, with the toilet, with the insects. There was just waveforms of energy just pulsating through my body, and I've never been so happy in all my life. I found total peace, total love on the floor of a toilet. In a ceremonial room in the middle of the Brazilian jungle. I mean, I never thought that would happen, but that was my reality. And I stayed on the toilet for ages, and Michael came in and he said, Jerry, you okay? Do you want to come back inside? And I said, to be perfectly honest with you, mate, I'm really happy down here. And if no one wants to use the toilet, mate, I'm just going to stay here. And he said, cool. So I stayed for a bit, and then I got up and I walked outside, and it was like I was in a rave. I could hear the music inside the ceremonial room, and I was talking to Daniel and Michael and Sylvia outside, and it was like I was in a party, like when I was 15, 16, 17 years old, and I was raving and there was music, and it was like I was off my nut. Well, I was off my nut, but it didn't seem that there was a ceremony, an ayahuasca ceremony going on in the other room. And it wasn't until Sylvia said, shh, keep your voice down. And I thought, oh my gosh, yeah, we're in an ayahuasca ceremony, we're not at a rave anymore. So I went back inside, and I lay down on my mattress, and then the most intense things happened. I mean, I haven't got words to describe. Words don't do it justice, how powerful, how beautiful, how infinitely incredible, extraordinary this stuff was. I mean, I watched the whole world being built. It like went zzz, and it was like sacred geometry. I saw every single building in the world in a short period of time get laid down, constructed all over the world. Pyramids, government buildings, everywhere, down to the most minutest degree, the most minutest angle, the most minutest geometry, exactly and perfectly right. I saw all this happening. I saw my wife and my children, and I loved them so much. Like I saw beyond who they are as people, and I saw them as spirit, as infinite, as essence, and I just fell in love with them so deeply. It was unbelievable. And that was the other thing. When I was led on the toilet floor and I surrendered, before I could continue my journey, I was forced to love myself in that naked, bare, totally distraught, distressed position. When I'd been stripped of everything, all ego, all everything. I loved myself. I loved myself unconditionally. And that was the healing for me right there. My heart chakra pulled open. It was just incredible. And then going back into the room, I saw the world we made, the geometry. I saw these beings that were about 60 feet tall. I mean, I could only see their legs because they were outside the room, outside the ceremonial hall. And the ceremonial hall must have been 15 odd meters high. So their waist was the tops of their legs, bottom of their groin, sort of waist area was all I could see. But I knew they were just so much taller. And yeah, I saw myself in the future, not as a human being in this world right now, but once I'd gone on to another spiritual plane, another dimension, I'd maybe ascended, or I'd gone on to my next place of learning, wherever that sort of evolutionary cycle might take me. And I saw a number of different beings, planetary beings, other dimensions, way out there, and it was like I could choose where I wanted to go to, but what was going to govern which one of those beings I was dependent on the decisions that I made right here, right now in my life. And yeah, and I just kept saying thank you, and it's just indescribable. I saw outside the ceremony room the trees, the plants, they came alive. Everything was alive. Everything was pure energy. Nothing was form. And it was just beautiful. It was so beautiful. It's about 6 o'clock in the evening right now, and we finished the ceremony. Probably the sun came up at about 5:30, but I laid there talking to two other people, Daniel and Chella, for at least a good 2 hours, just talking about our experiences, and it was profound. It was amazing. And I was going to record this straight after this morning, but my head was just frazzled. I was just trying to take it all in. I was trying to, get myself into a place where I could talk about this. I got my computer out, my laptop, and I started writing about it, but I was looking at the screen and it was blank, and the stuff that I was writing was just not doing it justice. So I had some food, we had a little kind of a get-together earlier and shared our experiences, and I've just had a shower and just recording this video now, but I'm going to go and have some dinner in a second, chill out this evening, and then tomorrow we've got the day free, and then tomorrow evening we're back in for our second ayahuasca treatment ceremony. We've got another one on Friday evening, and then another one on Sunday daytime. So Sunday's going to be in the daylight outside, which I'm really looking forward to. So Lord knows what's going to come up in these next few sessions, but I'm going to share my feelings and thoughts and experiences with you again. I'll see you again soon. Okay, so I've had my second ceremony. It was yesterday. I couldn't tell you guys exactly what happened yesterday because I was in a bit of a mess, spaced out, kind of, yeah, couldn't collect my thoughts enough. It was just so much to take in. Much like the first ceremony, it was intense, but it was completely different at the same time. I took 100 milliliters this time instead of 70 plus 40 the first time, so I took 100 in one go. And within like 15 minutes, it must have been 15 minutes, I was totally, you know, not hallucinating, visualizing. I was gone. It was like a beautiful nightmare. It was so intense, and this lasted for probably about an hour, because I remember Sylvia, the lady that was, you know, one of our facilitators, she came around and said it was 1 hour, and I remember opening my right eye, and I opened my right eye to look at her, and she started doing cartwheels, like somersaults in midair, flipping over and over, and I was like, whoa. I closed my eyes again and kind of went back into it, and all I could see was geometry and shapes and patterns, and it was like it was closing in on me, and I was experiencing so many things from the early part of my life, just whoa, flowing through my visions. It was just like boom, 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 rapid fire, one after another, vision, remembering, and it was crazy, and it was nice, it was beautiful, but it was horrible at the same time, and I kind of wanted to get out of it, and it was the ayahuasca forcing me to kind of surrender again. And then all of a sudden I kind of jumped up and I threw up into the bucket next to me, and then kind of lay back down again, and then got up and threw up again, and it was just coming out of me. So I picked the bucket up, and I ran to the toilet, puking into the bucket at the same time. Got into the toilet, threw up several more times, and then came back in and lay down straight away, and then I was just in heaven. I sat up with my back against the wall, looking across the room, and everything was just beautiful. It was pure love, it was pure oneness, it was just, I was the universe in all its glory, just being at one with everything. It was absolutely magical. And I looked out of the window, and there was this big being with like blonde hair, huge, with a flashlight, looking through the window, pointing the flashlight at me. And then I looked all the way across the windows outside into the jungle, and there was just loads of beings, all different shapes and sizes, extraterrestrials, more humanoid looking things, and they were just letting me know that whatever I'm doing in my life, they're watching over me and they're keeping an eye on me, and all I need to do is to follow my intuition and I'll be guided, and that they've got my best interests at heart. And that was amazing. And then shortly after that, all the animals from the forest came in to the room. They were kissing me, they were cuddling me, they were all around me. There was squirrels, there was monkeys, there was just a variety of so many different animals just all around me. It was just incredible, and I was just sat there just floating. I had no body, I had no arms, I had no face, I had nothing. I was just source, just God, just energy, just the universe, just being one with everything, and it was lovely. And this carried on for a while, and then the next thing I heard this voice, and I heard this whisper in my ear, and it said, "Jerry, we're all binary codes," or "Jerry, you're binary, all you are is binary codes." And I was thinking, what does this mean? And then all of a sudden I was in someone's head, and you know, I've come to realise that we're, as human beings, you know, we interpret light. Light is information, and we interpret it the way that we've been conditioned to interpret it. And all it is information, and we interpret the reality, and it's possible to change the code that's inside our head that makes up the reality that we interpret. Just like changing the code at the back of a website, you can change how the website looks. So I was being told that we were binary code, and through my healing work, and which is one of the reasons I came to this retreat, to try and enhance that, I can actually design pieces of code and input these pieces of code into someone's brain, whether, you know, to perform certain tasks, for good obviously, and this code will then be taken in by the brain. The neurological system will feed this information out through the body, and someone can create better health, more abundance, better relationships, deciding on the piece of code that I put into their brain. So this was really powerful for me, because it showed me exactly how to do it. So in my distance healing and my psychic surgery now, I know I'm going to be able to advance this and take it to a brand new level, so I'm really excited. I saw this kind of large crystal. It was like a big white long crystal and it had spirals at the top of it, and I was blowing onto it, and then I looked to my right, and the lady that was actually doing ayahuasca next to me, who's kind of been my partner in crime with another guy through this excursion, she was blowing on it too, and our breath was doing something with the crystal when it was touching the crystal, and it was sending out these harmonic, beautiful rays of healing energy out into the world, and people were being healed by it. I'm not sure whether this was past or future. Maybe it's something from the past that's gonna come about in the future again very soon. I'm not sure. Probably, but it was really powerful anyway. But once I'd got this binary code bit of information, that was kind of it for me. I just felt at one, and I started to drift off, asleep, come back round again, and this kind of happened until it got daylight. And then, you know, most people had left the building by then. There was 3 of us left, myself, Daniel and Chella, and we just chatted for a couple of hours and then came down and had our breakfast, and that was my second ceremony. I've got another one in about an hour and a half, my third one. I'm sort of debating how much ayahuasca to take. I'm thinking maybe 70 to 80 mils, go down a touch, because I don't believe that the more you have, the more powerful it is. I think the spirit of ayahuasca kind of determines the level or the depth that you're going to go to during your experience. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll fill you in again on the next part. I'm going to go and get showered, have a little bit of a rest, chill out, and then go into ceremony number 3. Okay, so it's Sunday evening, it's about 5 o'clock, and I've just finished my 4th ayahuasca ceremony. It was in the daytime. The 3rd one I've not really reported on yet because, yeah, again, I didn't really have too much to say yesterday. It's as the week's gone on, it's just been so much to process, so much integration. It's been really good having the day of ayahuasca and then a day to kind of recover and share and do workshops and just chill out, really, go to the beach or whatever. Because it gives you that time for the insights to come, the integration to come, and you to actually realise what the hell happened. So I'm in the 3rd ceremony, which was Friday night. It took ages for me to come on. Now in this ceremony I decided to do 80 millilitres of ayahuasca instead of 100 millilitres of ayahuasca. So I went 20 millilitres less. And what I realised is, because I went 20 millilitres less, I actually respected the ayahuasca so much more, and so in turn the ayahuasca gave me so much more back. I was thinking that you need to do more, to have a bigger dose, to have a better experience, but I couldn't have been further from the truth. So when I went down in dose, because I've respected the plant and Mother Ayahuasca so much, she gave me more, but she took her time to give it me. It took like 2 to 2.5 hours to come up. To start getting my visuals, to start having the experience. And the reason that she did this is to elevate or enhance the patience that I'm struggling with in my life, because I'm a very impatient person. I like to say I'm going to do something and get out there and do it. I don't like to hang around. So ayahuasca was showing me that I am an impatient person, and she made me wait for the experience. So I had to just chill, meditate, relax into the zone and just wait for it to happen. When it did happen, it was nuts. It was completely and utterly crazy. I mean, this experience was so profound that I haven't got words to describe it. Like, my corpus callosum, the bit that connects the left brain to the right brain, was just totally open. The information was not information anymore. It was just pure geometry and colours, and it was floating backwards and forwards. And I understood it all on a level of knowing, on a level of intuition, right female brain, you know, thinking format. But in terms of logical, rational, male, left brain thinking, it didn't make any sense at all. So that's why it's difficult for me to explain this to you. Something that did happen is I saw my nan. My nan's 96. She went into hospital the day of this ceremony, and so I went to talk to her, and we had a great conversation, and she told me a few things, and my dad was there who's passed away, my granddad who's passed away, and everybody was around just waiting for her to come home. So I think she's going to pass pretty soon. But there's a lot of reasons for that, which I'm not going to go into right now, but it would take me forever to explain it to you. But having that conversation with her was extraordinary. One thing I got from this experience was pure stillness. I came so much into the present moment, into the now, and since that ceremony on Friday, I've not been in the future or the past at all. My ego's shut down pretty much. I mean, it has a little kind of mutter here and there, but nothing drastic. And I've just been enjoying everything. I mean, when I walked out of the ceremony room earlier, and it was daylight because we did a daytime ceremony, I walked out of the ceremony and started to go down the grass steps. And to start with, my mind started thinking about the lake that I was going to go and swim in. But straight away the thoughts came in and said, enjoy the experience. So it brought me straight back to the present moment, you know, without me having to even try. It just kicked right in, and it said, enjoy the steps. So I started walking down the steps, enjoying every single step, until I got to the water. And then when I got to the water, I enjoyed the water, swimming in it, not thinking about what I was going to do next, just being here and now, pure stillness, pure presence. And it's a presence and a stillness that I've not experienced before, not this profound. It's beautiful, and still right now, I'm still feeling it now. I only finished like about half an hour ago, so yeah, it was absolutely unbelievable. And then the ceremony today, which we did in the daytime, I only took 40 milliliters, but again the experience was profound. It was short and sharp, it wasn't as long-winded, but I came up real quick, and the visuals were amazing. I had my eyes open, just laid on my bed, looking at everybody in the ceremony room, and I just felt so much love for everybody else that was in that room. I just wanted to go over and hug and kiss everybody. It was unbelievable. And I looked deep inside their soul, and I could see that everybody on a soul level for who and what they truly were, this energy source, God, spirit, the universe, whatever you want to call it. And I recognised myself in all of them and realised how much we really are all the same. I mean, I've preached it for ages and harped on about it for ages, but to really experience it like this, you know, the ayahuasca brings it, you know, into full view, into a way that you can know it, I suppose, because you can't explain this stuff, but it makes so much sense. But in terms of words don't do it justice. You can't explain this stuff in words. But it was amazing, just so much love, so much kindness, so much purity. It was just wonderful. And then something really amazing happened. I was there on the bed, just sort of looking up, and all of my multi-dimensional selves, loads of them, started jumping back into my body with force. Boom, 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 coming from everywhere. All of these different beings, men, women, from all over the place. Different dimensions, you know, hitting my body. And once they'd all come in, they sprung me up into the air, and I landed on my feet. And they just said to me, you need to go and fulfill your mission now, you're ready. And I was given a lot of information. I got visited by this little girl, which is another long story. But she was giving me some information, some thanks about some things that I'd helped her with, and they just said to me, you know, that book that you're writing at the moment, you need to tell the truth, you need to tell the whole truth, don't pull any punches. And the book that I was going to write was called The Vortex of Consciousness, but they told me that the book needs to be called The Truth, simply The Truth, and just lay my heart on the table, which I'm going to do now. I've almost finished it anyway, but I'm going to go back through it and just make sure that I've told absolutely everything as fully as possible. Because they told me that, you know, I'm a storyteller, and my stories are the healing for other people, by me being living evidence of how much you can have a profound transformation in your life from coming from where I've been to where I am today. It's massive, massive change. So they told me just to lay it out on the table and tell everybody the truth, because it will inspire people. So that was something that was really positive that came out of it. I mean, it was all positive, but that was just good for me. Then I went outside, I went into the lake, I had a swim around, the trees were alive, the lake was alive, I was talking to the rocks were talking back to me, the trees were talking to me. It was just an amazing experience, the colours, the visuals, the energy. The energy in the trees, it was just flowing. They weren't just stagnant trees, just bark and branches and leaves. They were much more than that. They were alive. They were full of energy, and you know, with the DMT flowing around your brain, you can see everything. It's just absolutely incredible. It was just so much beauty, I suppose. So much love. so much harmony. And you know, this experience coming here to Spirit Vine has just been one of the most amazing experiences of my entire life, and I can't see me being ever again the way that I was before, because so much has happened in such a short period of time. My whole inside has been rewired, rejigged, neurological pathways have been redesigned and redistributed, and everything's just flowing differently, better, in harmony. And I've just got so much love in my heart. My heart center's opened up so much. You know, the truth has been told during these ceremonies. You know, I've seen myself for what I really am. I've seen other people for what they really are. I've seen nature, the universe, for what it really is, and it's just paradise. It's beautiful. And this experience that we get to have as human beings is totally amazing, because you know, we're spirit, we're God, we're geometric symbols, we're energy, we're no time and no space, we're just flowing continually. And to come into this human experience and step away from that, in one sense, because of the brain that we've been conditioned with, and the experiences that we have growing up, you realise how amazing it is to be a human and to actually go back and discover what you really are. It's amazing, you know, to discover what you truly are at the core, this energy source that is in everything, that is in you, that is in me, that is in everybody. Everything in this entire universe, all objects animate and inanimate. It's just wonderful, a truly profound experience. And if you're ever thinking about doing ayahuasca, I'd go onto the internet, choose where you want to go, and book your flights right now, because it will change your life forever. I'll tell you now, it's not going to be easy, but you'll love it. You'll benefit so much in so many ways, and so will your family and so will your friends, because my family and friends back in England and other parts of the world that I've been speaking to during this week have been experiencing things that I've been experiencing, or having experiences that are a knock-on effect of what I've readjusted and realigned within my heart and soul. So it's not just you're going to affect, it's so many people. So get yourself out and do it. And Spirit Vine is where I've come to. Sylvia is an amazing host. The place that she's got here is beautiful, and you know, you've got some of your creature comforts, you've got the luxury, you've also got the jungle, you've got the wild, you've got everything. You've got the ayahuasca, you've got committed, dedicated, beautiful souls that will take you on your journey, guide you, nurture you, and look after you in every which way. Okay, it's been an amazing experience. See you soon.